Going on, everybody, it's Rev, and welcome back to another Dauntless video. In today's episode, we're going to just quickly wrap up or conclude the full playthrough of Dauntless, or at least the storyline. I wouldn't say we're anywhere near being done with the game, but for some people, it is the end of the game, and they don't really know what to do now that the story is over. There's nothing really guiding them, and I just want to go over. There are 3 activities that stand out to me as sort of like end game content. I personally don't really believe that Dauntless has an end game particularly right now, but there are still activities to do now that you've finished the main storyline. And the first one is mastery farming and opening up the armors that you didn't craft before. Experimenting with builds, learning more about the game, learning other weapons is a hundreds and hundreds of hours of playtime if you're so inclined to play every single weapon at a highly proficient level. On top of that, we have the ability to get our armor to plus 15. You can go beyond plus 10 to plus 15, and that is done through behemoth mastery, which means you're going to be farming several behemoths, and this will help you with bounties. It will help you with crafting that armor all the way up, and just getting the loot that you need for maybe exotic items or something else like that. Dyes, cosmetics, you can get dyes from every single heroic behemoth that is available. It's yeah, it's a good farm. It's a good farm. You're just gonna patrol, upgrade, and pretty much do the same thing that we've been doing through the main quest line, but now we're doing it for a different purpose. It's not to complete quests, it's to upgrade the gear and armor that we think is interesting, and to try have more tools in our tool belt. The second thing is escalation. We still have a story quest or main quest in our quest log, and this is another great way that this kind of bleeds into each other. Escalation is a really fun mode. You get to just slay out with your friends or solo or however you want to play, and you have some nice modifiers for your Slayer as well as the behemoths, and you get to experience a different fight with 2 behemoths in the arena at one time. And so escalation is pretty fun. I would highly recommend it over the if you're not farming Arcanite, or if you're already done, I would highly recommend just playing escalation. It's really fast way to level up mastery, as well as a great way to do your bounties. It's not unheard of to finish a full row of 4 in one escalation, which is really cool. And then on top of that, we get cosmetic rewards and power gains through this the escalation leveling system, and that's something that you're going to carry for the entire season. As you finish escalation, your lantern, I need to turn yeah, it's like right behind me. You guys get it. Let's click on it, that's easier. We'll you'll go up in power and resistance as you keep progressing. So you can see mine, I'm like level, I'm pretty low level, so I have 4 and 4, and that goes all the way up to 50. So that's a good way to increase your power after you've maybe gotten your armor to plus 10 or plus 15, however you want to do it. I would recommend getting in there sooner than later, just so you can get the cosmetic rewards and not have to worry about it too much. Now, the very last thing, which is how I'm going to conclude this episode, is with a trials run. And I've already actually done one because I was trying to get a run with several people, but there was not too many people in the queue. It was like super early morning though, like 3 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, let's talk about trials a little bit, because it's kind of the most it's something new, entirely new, that is unlocked after you complete the main quest line. And so there's a quest that's probably in your log called Luck Be a Lady, and it was to talk to Lady Luck, and then nothing happened at all. The quest, or the shop that Lady Luck runs, is only accessible until after you complete the Bright Shadows quest. After you do, there's a myriad of upgrades and just kind of like fun stuff to play with. if for a particular currency that is achieved through trials. You can also get the exotic repeaters, the Twin Suns, which are very fun to play in there as well. And so there's two difficulties to the trials, which is normal and Dauntless difficulty rather. And so Dauntless difficulty has a different gold version of the currency called Gilded Marks. And everything that you see for Gilded Marks is purely cosmetic and offers no power, except for maybe the Gold Slayer core, if you want to consider it that way. I've never, I don't know anyone who's bought Gold Slayer cores after, as opposed to going through all the work to get these cosmetics. However, so that's something that you can do. And something hidden to me is if you get to the top 100 of trials, you actually unlock some color variants for all these weapons. And I don't know if they're still up. Yeah, it's these gold and black versions of the weapons. So it's kind of like a recolor, and you get there's a way to get titles and all that stuff. So it's just it's kind of just like a way to flex, you know, how good you are at the game if you're so inclined to do that. But for the everyday or casual player, you're gonna want to still partake in trials as like a weekly activity and get your weekly marks if you're so inclined. There's particularly good things to grab for the Warpike and sword, but for the most part you're going to want to get discipline and berserker cells, and then if any other cells that, you know, tickle your fancy, you can pick them up. There are some of these cells on my main account that I haven't even picked up at all. Just some notable mods and specials. I'll quickly go down the line because I'm sure people are curious. Let's see. Rail Splitter's Canteen can be interesting, but I prefer the other mods that the Axe has to offer. But consider it. It's a Tactician's Magazine was popular, but I think it's gone down in popularity, and people still use oh man, what's the modifier? The one that as you dodge through something, it lowers your cooldowns. Whichever one that is, I'm blanking on the name. I apologize. Executioner Spearhead is the best mod on the Warpike in the game. Highly recommend. Whistling Blade is the best mod for the sword in the game. Momentum Pommel also gets a an honorable mention because it's just kind of fun to play, and it's another hard-hitting overhead swing of your combo, and adds an additional hit to the triple elements combo, which is cool. Relentless Onslaught saw a little bit of play in the early phases of Escalation, and it's kind of just like Grim Onslaught, but instead you can catch it and then throw it again, and then catch it and throw it again, and the damage goes up and up and up. However, it doesn't build meter anymore, which is kind of unfortunate because it kind of neuters the experience of leveling up the axe. And yeah, so Grim Onslaught is still very good, and I'd probably recommend it over Relentless Onslaught, but this is something new for axe players to play with if they are so inclined. Ironheart Landbreaker is if you're a hammer player and you have Mighty Landbreaker, this is kind of like a defensive version. You put a blue fissure on the ground that people can pick up, and this basically gives them a bulwark tonic and a small hot. And it's really good for dealing with like something like Karabac or something that just kind of deals a lot of sudden damage. And you know, as a bleed, this is a healing effect, so you get rid of bleeds and stuff. So if you like that kind of like tanky or defensive version of support, go for it. The thing to know about Ironheart Landbreaker is only if you have two hammer players, only one version of Landbreaker can be active at a time, which I find kind of unfortunate, and kind of, you know, it's like, I think hammer bros should be able to, you know, play together, right? I think that that would be pretty cool. But let's move on. Avenging Overdrive, best sword special in the game, hands down. It is so good. This is the first thing I'm going to buy when I do this last run here. Insatiable Dance is kind of like a healing version of Reaper's Dance. Don't recommend. Reckless Leap is a lot of fun, but unfortunately the most boring Warpike special is the best statistically. Reckless Leap is a lot of fun, and I do have a lot of fun for farming wound masteries with it. but if you're looking for optimal play, the Wellspring is the best special. Broadside Lantern is kind of interesting. It's a way for the repeaters to interrupt with their lantern, and that's really the only use I see it being being beneficial, is to a repeater player that's looking to interrupt in a different way. And let's see, the exotic repeaters, Twin Suns, very fun weapon to play. Highly recommend. It's probably the most fun exotic to play. And that takes so it'd take you 4 weeks to unlock these via the trials if you're getting the maximum amount every day. And that just about covers it. We got the cosmetic stuff with the gilded marks as well. So I'm gonna wrap up this quest. There's a quest to pick up, I think it's just called like trials, trial run or something, I think is what the quest is called. And you get 200 silver marks or steel marks. And so I'm gonna just quickly, I tried to film this earlier with some people, and it just didn't work out. And so I'm gonna do it solo this time, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see if I can sub 3 a shroud with the a fresh account with an axe. Should be rather interesting. So as I mentioned before, in the airship you can check out the modifiers. We have the frost mollusks, which are also known as Gary. It's a little snail that spawns randomly in the arena, and it will slither around, and once it does, it leaves a trail behind it, the little snail trail. And if you touch it, an elemental effect happens. There's every elemental type of smallest, but the frost one in particular just freezes you outright, and so it can get pretty annoying. But on top of that, we have combustion, which is if shroud hits you with a melee attack, you get lit on fire, like if you are if you touch fire in a Charog fight or something like that. So there's a lot of hazardous effects that are going to be in the arena and added to the behemoth. Now I'm trying to beat this in 3 minutes, and so we have our potions. I'm running the axe, which is +10, and it's kind of the same build that we use to take on Shroud in the main storyline. As some tips for trials, if you're going in for the first time, you want consumables popped before you go in every single run. Like, well, I shouldn't say every single run. If you're getting a feel for trials, don't waste your consumables. But for the best odds of getting a sub 3 time, you want to pop your consumables on the platform and then jump in. We're fighting Shroud, so I just want, mainly I have Molten, which makes it so I don't get lit on fire at all, and of course I get hit by the first hit of the trial. But we're running the Valamir axe, and Gary spawned on me and froze me. No, Gary, let me out, there we go. The Gary experience, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm gonna run to the side on that. You can kind of outrun that roll. I need to heal up. Throw my axe. Gonna catch. Gonna hopefully KO it here, maybe. We'll see. Nice. I would like that attack speed. I'm gonna go back for it. Oh, Gary. Get away from me, Gary. Get away from me, Gary. Another axe to the face. I'm trying to break some limbs here, so I'm going for the arms mainly. Getting a little bit of stagger damage built up. After the first stagger, so there's a stagger threshold, and every time you stagger a behemoth, it goes up exponentially. And so after I get the first one in trials, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's gonna take me a long time to get another one, so I'm gonna go for breaks instead. I'm not dropping a lot of damage here. It might be kind of difficult for me to get sub 3. We shall see, at least with the axe, what I currently have. Where are you at? There you are. I get this interrupt. Honk. Get my attack speed and move speed. Gonna run over to Shroud, and now I have my overpower window, and I also have a lot. Oh, that's unfortunate. So when you get a break, you actually take time off the clock, which is nice. That's good to know. My Molten. Gonna go for the other arm now. In Dauntless difficulty, it's significantly harder to break stuff. The parts have a lot more HP. Oh no. And another one's right next to me. No. Freezing is my least favorite mechanic in this game, next to being blind by white screens. As a fun fact, in case anybody was anybody was curious. All right, let's throw the X there. All right, we're good. We're doing good. Let's hopefully break this arm here. There's a swarm of Garys coming for me. Gonna maybe get another stagger here. You know, one thing I wasn't doing, and which is a good habit to be in, is my consumables have timed out, right? And I should be popping them up more frequently during the fight, like when Shroud goes in rage and I'm looking for it. That's a good habit to be in if you're looking to get some more competitive times. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Oh, should be almost dead. Gary, where are you? Don't want to get frozen again. I'm gonna let that clone actually stay alive, and I'm gonna save my damage for killing Shroud because I know it's almost dead. This might be a mistake. Get away from me. This is also a way to level up your mastery. Hey, we have interrupted Shroud 10 times. Hey, all right, so we got an additional 100 from our previous run that we did with a rando, but we have 200 for the week thus far. Now I can go back and push for sub 3. Maybe I get a little bit more power under my belt, change up my build a little bit, and come back. But we have the ability to run this as many times as we want in 1 week. There's no gating that way. So I'll be able to adjust my build a bit, maybe get a couple more cells that will help me take this out, and I'll probably just use my consumables and stuff. So play a little bit better and maybe upgrade my gear, come back, and I'll go for that sub 3. Now, now that we have some marks, let's go buy something. Let's see. So we also have the retry button, which is a very nice feature, by the way. But we'll go back to Lady Luck and we'll buy Avenging Overdrive just so people can see what it's like to buy something, I guess. What it's you know, what the interface looks like, and it's not really anything special or worth noting, but we'll get it for this account if we're so inclined. One thing I want to do is play on my main account and just kind of do more gameplay oriented, I guess just more content like this that is the same as this playthrough, but on my main account, and maybe like push for like everything. I've been playing for a very long time and my mastery cards are still not completed, and so it'd be a good way to just kind of vent my thoughts, as well as a way to progress my account. So we're gonna pick up Avenging Overdrive. It is my favorite thing in the trial store. We had 600 marks and we have 100 we have 100 left over. So next week we could get like Discipline or a Berserker cell, which are very good. Anyway, we got Avenging Overdrive. We'll go ahead and equip a sword, and it's a brand new special. Boom. And we still need to get maybe next week we'll get Whistling Blade or something. But that's gonna do it. Hopefully this kind of cleared up any questions if you were curious on, you know, what do you do now? There's a lot of activities to do. You got escalation, you got mastery farming, you got trials, you got the hunt pass and bounties, I guess, are kind of like a collective thing. And earning those cosmetics that way. But other than that, I believe that's everything. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this playthrough, you know, I just want to say thank you, because it's very long and there's a lot of information, and you guys were super supportive of this entire project. So thank you guys. It's very humbling. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, same old stuff. If you want to support the channel and myself, use creator code RevvyRad in the Dauntless in-game store. If you want to further subscribe, if you want to further support the channel, you can subscribe. If you want to catch me live, I stream on Twitch. I stream Dauntless. I've been playing a ton of Monster Hunter World as well. So if you like the hunting genre or action games in general, definitely come check me out. That's gonna do it. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you on the Shadow Dials.